21 of Digital Marketing 3. I hope you can see my screen.
Yes.
Okay. So we have looked at customer analysis because customers are part of the immediate environment of any organization within the microenvironment. We then looked at competitors because competitors also play a key part when developing a digital marketing strategy. So now we are going to look at something else. Remember, guys, when we discussed the digital marketing environment, I told you about competitors, I told you about suppliers, I told you about intermediaries, I told you about customers. So this lesson is going to focus on intermediaries, and I'm going to introduce you guys to the Canvas business model. But before we start, what is an intermediary? What do you think is an intermediary?
Intermediary is the go-between, it's the middle guy, the third party.
Okay, that's true. So it's a channel that you can use. We have used intermediaries and we keep using intermediaries in our daily lives. You know, think about when you have a boyfriend, you know him through someone else, and whenever there are issues, that person becomes a go-between. In most African cultures, you don't just do things on your own as a couple. When you are doing lobola negotiations or when you want to get married, you go through uncles and aunties, you know. So we use intermediaries in our lives, and there are specific reasons why we use intermediaries. So there are also specific reasons why intermediaries, or what we would call a channel, is used in digital marketing. So the outcomes for the lessons are still the same. At the end of this lesson, you should be able to evaluate techniques for reviewing the importance of intermediaries as part of the development of digital market strategy. So we've looked at customers, we've looked at competitors, we'll look at suppliers, we'll look at publishers. But with this lesson, we are going to focus on intermediaries. So as I said, guys, we consider intermediaries as channels. So this is the configuration of partners in a distinct channel. An example would be if you are a brand, and you cannot directly reach your customers due to other reasons. Maybe you've got a very limited customer base. You can use an intermediary to reach out to those customers. So do you realize that intermediaries have got their own customer base? For example, if you are using a wholesale, if you are a Cadbury shop, if you are a Cadbury manufacturer, you produce Cadbury, and you do not have a specific shop that sells Cadbury, you can always give retailers like Clicks, like Pick and Pay, those Cadbury products so that they distribute on your behalf. So to realize that wholesalers like Clicks, like Pick and Pay, they've got their own customers. So instead of having one channel, you can have multiple channels to distribute your product, and it means that your product is having a wider reach. So that's why you'd need an intermediary in order to get a wider reach, in order to focus on manufacturing only, then you leave sales and distribution to intermediaries. Does it make sense, guys?
Yes.
Okay. Then we have got two concepts that we can always talk about. We've got disintermediation and we've got reintermediation. So disintermediation or reintegration of channel can occur due to opportunities afforded by digital channels. So disintermediation is the removal of intermediaries such as distributors or brokers that formerly linked a producer to its customers. So here you'll be bypassing some channels. I'll give you an example, guys. So realize that there are companies that take out their products from the shelves and they start selling them on their own. So, for example, if Converse or Star, or if Vans, or if Adidas, yeah, let's look at the sportswear, Adidas or Nike, if they are selling their products using Edgar stores, using Total Sports, then all of a sudden they've got their own shops. They are no longer appearing in Total Sports. They are only they're now creating their own shops nationwide. That's disintermediation. So they are no longer using Total Sports and other retailers to sell their products. They are now selling the products directly. I don't know if I'm making any sense, guys.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I've realized that with Lindt as well. You know, Lindt chocolate. I bumped into their shop at Santon City, so they now have their own shop where they can sell all the Lindt products. But you can still have some of the products that you can find at Pick and Pay, Checkers, and so on. So this is a diagram that illustrates disintermediation, and I believe it is in your textbook. So with intermediation, the use of an intermediary, from the manufacturer, you go to the wholesaler. The wholesaler will distribute to its retailers, and then it reaches out to consumers. So that's how intermediation works. You know, you're selling peanut butter. Instead of selling it direct, you're producing peanut butter. Instead of selling it directly to customers, you sell it to wholesalers. Wholesalers then will distribute to their retail stores, their supermarkets. Then customers would go and get at the supermarkets. But you can bypass the channel like it is showing on B. You can bypass the channel, you remove the wholesaler, and you go directly to retailers, then you go to consumers. Or you can eliminate both the wholesaler and the retailer, and you become the point of connection between yourself and your consumers. So this has got its own advantages and its own disadvantages. So the first disadvantage of disintermediation is that you are going to lose a customer base, because remember, those intermediaries have got their own customers. So if you are Cadbury, for example, you are selling to all supermarkets in the country. You are selling Cadbury using Pick and Pay as an intermediary, using Clicks as an intermediary, using Game, using Checkers. Then all of a sudden you need to sell it directly. It means that all the customers for Checkers, for Clicks, for Cambridge, whatever supermarket is, they're not going to have direct access to you. So that's the first disadvantage. But on the other hand, guys, you can think of so many disadvantages there, you know, customer loyal points and stuff like that. But on the other hand, there are advantages. The first advantage is that you eliminate logistical costs, and you also eliminate the risk of shelf life if you are selling products that easily go bad. You know, they can take 3 or 4 days to reach consumers because they go to wholesaler, they put them at a warehouse, they need to distribute it. But if you can sell it directly to customers, customers can always find it in fresh mode. Is there anything that you can add there, guys? Any advantage that you can think on, or disadvantages, or whatever that you need to add on?
Perhaps from a consumer point of view, if there's no like middleman, won't the prices be slightly cheaper?
Yes, they would be cheaper because chances are that the wholesalers are also getting some profit from that, you know. So to see, maybe the producer is selling a Cadbury at 5 rands. But with all these channels, fuel was used, storage was used, the wholesaler is going to charge more and it ends up being 7 rand. So on that one, on pricing, you are spot on. That's correct. What else?
Sam,
Mm-hmm.
what let's say with the first one, when you do it like that, doesn't like the business get even more like exposure, or people know more about it
Yes,
instead of.
definitely. Yeah, I get what you say. Definitely you can get more exposure because remember, intermediaries can also advertise your product. How many times, guys, have you seen Pick and Pay advertising Huggies or Pampers, saying that it's on
Yeah.
promotion? So they can
Yes.
advertise your product on your behalf, I believe. So that's more exposure. Instead of you advertising on your own, you can have intermediaries advertising that because they don't want that to spend more time on their shelves. So they would advertise so that people come to buy. So they're actually doing advertising job on your behalf. So that's correct on that one, Obunolo.
Yes.
Okay, we are done with disintermediation. Now we move on to reintermediation. So this is the creation of new intermediaries between customers and suppliers, providing services such as a supplier search or product evaluation. So reintermediation occurs because consumers require assistance in the selection of products. So reintermediation can happen with old intermediaries, but also with new intermediaries. So realize that there is a shop that used to sell things on its own, but all of a sudden they partner with retailers and saying that this product you now going to find it at this store. Which products, guys, if you heard that instead of the manufacturer selling it directly, you can now get it through intermediaries?
I'm struggling to think of a product here.
Okay, think about cars, dealerships. All of a
Okay.
sudden, you've got this dealership that is now selling Mazda. Instead of going to Mazda directly or instead of going to Toyota directly.
Okay.
But do those dealerships get the cars from Mazda, or they get it from people who sell those cars?
It depends with the partnership that they have. They can get it directly from Mazda
Oh, okay.
so that they also get original parts and spares and stuff like that. Also, guys, think about supermarkets, including the assignment that you are working on. Nowadays, we are having many restaurants partnering with Mr. D, using Mr. D as an intermediary. So they were not uh, doing deliveries, but all of a sudden they are doing deliveries using Mr. D. Mr. D has got its own customers, its own users, who then end up ordering food uh, from that restaurant using the delivery service. I don't know if I'm making any sense, guys.
Yes. Also, that's an example of reintermediation.
Yes.
Okay.
So intermediation is not only in terms of products, guys. It can be in terms of services. For example, if you're a university and you are training nurses, all of a sudden you are partnering with a hospital for those nurses to have their service at that hospital. The hospital becomes an intermediary because it has got its own patients. that the university could not have had when using their nurses. Can you get it, guys?
Yes.
So there are advantages to reintermediation. You always get a wider reach. You can always get more customers, you know, but there can also be a disadvantage, especially from a production point of view. Now, because you have got many channels, it means that you need to produce more, right?
Mm-hmm.
In order to keep supplying those new channels that you are using. So this is a diagram for intermediation. I believe that you guys have it. So you
Yes.
can have an intermediary or remove it. The moment you remove it for other reasons that you have as a company, that's disintermediation. We spoke about that. Then you can reintroduce it. It can be reintermediation. But you realize that many companies nowadays, they're not completely withdrawing from intermediaries. So they would have brands, or maybe I can say that generic brands that appear, generic products that appear through the use of intermediaries. Then they've got their own high-level shops where they can sell high-cut brands. So realize that Vans has got its own shop where it's selling high-cut products, but you can still go to Studio 88 to get a pair of generic Vans, be it Nike, be it Adidas, whatever product that you can think of. They can have their own shop where they are selling direct. Even the smartphones, be it Lenovo, you find it at a Lenovo store, or HP, you find it at an HP store. But you go to Hi-Fi Corporation, you go to Incredible Connection, you also find it. Have you come across that, guys?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
all right. So brands always weigh in advantages and disadvantages and think about this, what works for them. Then when it comes to digital marketing, you can even use aggregators as an intermediary. Think about Hippo. Do you guys know about Hippo? Where you compare insurance prices.
Yes.
Yes.
So customers can buy your product, your insurance product, either using your intermediary, which is Hippo, or they come directly to you. So in which industries have you seen this occurring? We've just discussed that, guys.
Please repeat the question, sir.
In which industries have you seen the use of intermediaries occurring? Can you hear me or have you lost
Yes.
me?
Now I can hear you. Sorry. I would say the insurance industry, as you mentioned,
Mm.
um, the whole Mr. D thing. Yeah.
Okay. Approximately in almost all industries, but it just depends on the type of product that is being sold. As I also gave you guys the example of a university partnering with a hospital. So now we move on to the Canvas business model. The Canvas business model is very relevant when you are starting up a new business, because these are things that you need to consider when creating that business model. Remember, guys, we spoke about B2B, B2C, B2 this, and B2 blah, blah, blah. But with this Canvas business model, you guys can actually, at the end of this class, start your own businesses, because it is a blueprint. It is a mind map. It is a foundation of how you can start a business. So in digital marketing, guys, we're not only teaching you guys about the promotion of products, we are also teaching you on how to become actually entrepreneurs or business owners. So here's a summary of the Canvas business model. There are 7 aspects that you need to consider in order to create a business. One, you need to have key partners. I think it's there in the textbook. I can't remember on which page. There's a student watch. Just try page 78, guys. I remember someone during the day class saying that is on page 78.
Yes, it's there.
Okay. So you need key partners in order to start a business. Those partners can be in form of experts or sector specialists or marketing agencies or freelancers. You just need someone to be by your side to boost your business. Then once you have got partners, you need activities to expose your business. You need activities to enhance the first stage of customer life cycle, which is reach. So you need to make people aware that you exist. So the first activity that you can have there is content creation. You need to create as much content as possible in terms of advertising or in terms of public relations or in terms of marketing. You need to create experience with customers. You need to have some sort of service promotion. You need to have to boost your sales so that you can generate profit. So these are some of the aspects that are put there, but you can always include many aspects under activities, under key partners, under key resources. So once you are creating content, you are making people aware of your business, you need resources in terms of staff, in terms of skills, in terms of technological tools. So for example, for content creation, you need a good content creator, someone who is going to craft those messages, making sure that they are tailored at attracting the target audience. So you also need developers, you need marketing plan and marketing strategy. And once you are now full in force, remember you have partners, you have activities to make sure that customers are now aware of your product. You give them promotions. You have got staff. You have got resources to make sure that the activities keep going. You can then come up with value proposition that will differentiate yourself from competitors. So the value proposition will help you to grow value by improving cross-channel marketing communications, using recommendations or using those three different types of media. Remember, paid, earned, or owned. You'd support individual learning and development, or you deliver specific consulting or training, advice, or mentoring. So yeah, this is the value that you now think you can offer so that you can be easily differentiated from competitors. The moment you start offering value, you are creating a relationship with those who believe in the value that you are offering. So you create relationship with customers. You can have self-service portals. You can have personalization there because this is a relationship. A relationship can be personalized. You can have dedicated mentoring or consultation. You can also get insights from customers. So you can collaborate with customers and co-create content using the blog posts or forums. So as you are developing a relationship with customers, you will have channels there. You create marketing communication channels. So the channels that I'm talking about here are not distribution channels, those that you use for intermediaries. These are marketing communication channels. So you have search engine, you have email marketing. Remember, you now have a relationship with customers. Means that you now have their information, such as email. You can communicate them via email. You can have partner segments. You can have social media marketing, creating social media pages. You can also have paid advertising. So as you are in force running now, you've already identified partners. You now have activities have got resources, you have developed a value proposition, you have a customer relationship, you have got channels. It now means that you can segment those customers. Because you know who they are, you can group them. You can know which customers matter to you based on their purchasing patterns. So these can be company owners if it's a B2B type of a business. It can be digital marketing manager, consultants, non-profit or e-commerce. So these are the things that you need to look at when coming up with a business. You can use the Canvas business model. So while it's on that, you need to think about how much this is going to cost. So you look at the cost structure. If you are going to employ people, you need salaries. If you are going to use a rental space or it's a shop, you need to pay for rent. If you are going to use a warehouse, you need to pay for rent. So those are the costs that are going to be involved. If you are going to be using softwares, you need to pay the subscription for them. Then there are also variable costs. For example, if you are going to outsource content creators, they have to be paid. You have agents marketing fees or advertising fees. So those are the costs in terms of capital that you're going to need. Then you also need to think about how you are going to make money out of this. This is the revenue streams. Are you going to be selling products on shelf, which is individual product purchase, or are you going to have some form of subscriptions, the same way DSTV is doing, like on a monthly basis or annual basis? Are you also going to utilize your digital assets, be it your website, be it your social media accounts? Are you going to utilize them to have advertising revenue there? Or are you going to be consulting or selling license and so on? So that's the Canvas model in general. And as you can see, it gives you an idea on how you can start a business and what you need to do, what needs to be done. Are there any questions about the Canvas business model, guys?
No questions.
I tried by all means to unpack each and everything, so I hope you guys understood that.
Yes, it makes sense.
All right. It has to make sense because we are going to have an exercise based on the Canvas model. So that's it, guys, about the use of intermediaries and the Canvas model. Now let's move on to lesson 22. Guys, am I being too fast?
No.
No, sir.
Because you can always let me know if I'm being too fast or if I'm being too slow. But remember, we always rush against load shedding and data and so on.
Mm-hmm.